Welcome back everyone to the Audacious Money Witch channel where we talk about the magic behind the stock market. Hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're talking about something that's got Wall Street buzzing like a beehive and has the potential to be a 50% upside story. I'm talking about Pepsi stock. Now I know what you're thinking, a boring old soda company. Listen, this story is anything but boring. It's a high-stakes, big money battle that's about to unfold. We're also going to talk about Celsius, a stock I told you about a year ago when it was trading at $23, and since then, it's more than doubled. Is it a buy now before 2026? What does it mean for you? Let's dig into it using research analysis and data. I'll share my thoughts and what I've done with my own position. This video is for all of you who want to understand the real stories behind the headlines and find opportunities hiding in plain sight. Let's get to it. The Pepsi problem. All right, let's start with Pepsi. For a long time, the stock was a solid, reliable, set it and forget it play. But something has gone terribly wrong. The stock is down 25% from its 2023 peak, and it's underperforming its arch rival, Coca-Cola, which is up 10% this year. Yikes. So what's the deal? Well, Pepsi's dual focus on snacks and beverages, which used to be its strength, is now its biggest weakness. Their namesake product, Pepsi, is no longer America's #2 soda. First, it was surpassed by Dr. Pepper in 2023, and then by Coca-Cola's Sprite in 2024. That's a huge red flag. Even their Frito-Lay food business, once a growth engine, has been hit by weak consumer spending and a shift away from processed foods. And this has all led to one thing, a massive activist investor showing up at their front door. Elliott Management's prescription. Enter Elliott Investment Management. They're not a bunch of amateurs. They're a hedge fund with about $76 billion in assets, and they just took $4 billion stake in PepsiCo, making them one of the largest investors. When Elliott shows up, it means they see a huge opportunity and they have a plan to unlock value. Elliott's plan is pretty straightforward. Slim down. They want a leaner, more focused PepsiCo. They're telling management to sell underperforming, non-core brands like pasta and syrups. They also want them to get serious about their core brands like Pepsi and Mountain Dew. But here's the most controversial part of their plan. They want PepsiCo to refranchise its bottling operations. You see, Pepsi owns many of its own bottlers, which are super expensive and have lower margins. Elliott says Pepsi should get rid of them and focus on building brands, not bottling. Coca-Cola did this years ago, and it worked. Elliott believes that if Pepsi follows their plan, the stock could have a 50% upside from today's levels. By the way, if you've made it to this far of this episode, please hit the like button and subscribe on this channel. I do deep analysis on the business side of all the brands and stocks that you love to buy. I do a lot of research to put together these videos so that you don't have to do any of the work to support what I do. Just hit the like button, it's free. And it helps a lot for a small channel like this. Now, I've been investing for over a decade, and I can tell you that when a firm like Elliott makes a 74-page presentation with a detailed plan, it's serious. And while some analysts have doubts, the general consensus is that Elliott is right. They are pushing management to move faster on initiatives. The Celsius story, okay, so that's the Pepsi story, but I want you to listen up, because this is where it all comes together. Let's talk about the stock that's shaking up the entire industry and is now working with PepsiCo, Celsius. About a year ago, when shares were trading at $23, I was telling you to buy. People were worried about slowing growth, but I saw a winning strategy. Celsius makes these healthier, sugar-free energy drinks. They've been brilliant with their social media strategy, targeting gym goers and health-conscious consumers, and it's working. Additionally, Celsius just made two massive deals that I don't think people understand the ramifications of. First, they acquired Alani Nu, a brand that's been popping off all across the US. Then they acquired Rockstar Energy from PepsiCo. Now get this, PepsiCo paid almost $4 billion for Rockstar back in 2020, and now Celsius is getting it for what amounts to pennies on the dollar. It's bananas. Practically gifted it to them. Celsius has a chance to revive the brand, and if they can't, it's no game breaker for them. It's just pure upside. Why would PepsiCo do this? Well, you have to understand the history. Companies like Pepsi and Coca-Cola have tried to build their own energy drink brands, and they've all crashed and failed. So Coca-Cola did something smart years ago. They invested in Monster Energy. They owned about 20% of Monster. Now PepsiCo has essentially realized they can't do energy drinks, so they're becoming a major shareholder of Celsius. And here's the mind-blowing part that's going to skyrocket Celsius's growth rates in 2026. In that deal, PepsiCo is now going to distribute Alani Nu. Remember what happened to Celsius's numbers when they started working with PepsiCo's distribution? They went through the roof. So what do you think is going to happen with Alani Nu? A brand that already has incredible growth. Now that it's going to be in every corner store and gas station in North America, my guess it's like putting a rocket booster on a rocket. This is huge. The importance of having a robust distribution network like PepsiCo's can't be overstated. It's the difference between being a niche player and a household name. You want your products on the top shelf everywhere. Now, the energy drink space is a three-horse race: Red Bull, Monster, and Celsius. If you add up the market shares of Celsius, Alani Nu, and Rockstar, Celsius has roughly 20% of North American market. Long term, they could get that 25% or even 30%, but here's the kicker, and this is why I'm bullish on Celsius. Red Bull has a big problem. Their co-founder passed away, and now they have this 3 CEO board of directors situation. I've been investing long enough to know that doesn't sound like a winning long-term strategy. And what about Monster? The 2 guys who built Monster into a behemoth are on their way out. So for the next 10 years, in my opinion, Red Bull and Monster will be on their back foot, and Celsius has a leader who's going to be in his prime. This is massive, massive advantage for Celsius and Pepsi. Buy, hold, or sell. My personal strategy, so where does this leave us? Let's talk about the hard numbers and my personal strategy. Celsius stock is now at $55 a share, well below its all-time high of nearly $100. Some analysts think it still has room to grow, and I agree. My opinion is that it's still very early days for this company. The whole market cap is around $14 billion, while Monster is over $60 billion. Celsius still has to build out its brands in North America, and then there's a whole international game that Monster has already played. The easy money has been made, but there's a lot of upside left. So I am a firm believer in taking profits when you have them. I bought Celsius at $23, and I just sold half of my position. I've more than doubled my money, and now I'm playing with house money. The remaining shares are pure profit, and I'll let them ride. That's a strategy I learned over the long term. Protect your principal. Now, what about Pepsi? I've already put my money where my mouth is. I've been watching this unfold for a while, and I initiated a position myself near the recent lows in that $133 to $135 range. I'm very bullish on this company. I believe that 50% gain is a realistic target, and I'm confident that Elliott's plan, which I think Wall Street will eventually get behind, will help unlock the value for us in the future. This isn't just about being first, it's about being right. And sometimes being right means being patient and buying when there's blood on the street. So tell me in the comments, what are your thoughts? Are you a Pepsi bull like me, or are you waiting for more signs? And for those of you who bought Celsius, what are you doing with your shares? Let me know. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more real talk from Audacious Witch. See you next time.